Good morning, my name is Jake Jones, and today we will be talking about the intelligence environment in Europe during the Cold and Ukraine wars, and also with the emerging Chinese threat. First off, all the articles that contributed to this research were written or co-written by Dr. Thomas Maguire. Dr. Maguire is a visiting fellow at King's College London in the Intelligence and Security Group and assistant professor of Intelligence and Security and Global Affairs at Leiden University. He currently researches in the areas of international relations, conflict and intelligence, security, and history, and is publishing a book on Cold War intelligence and propaganda covert action in Southeast Asia. This first segment focuses on Cold War counter-subversion and more specifically propaganda by examining Maguire's article, Counter-Subversion in Early Cold War Britain. During the Cold War, Britain viewed domestic Soviet propaganda and the ongoing labor movement as equal or greater risk as foreign propaganda. To combat this threat, Britain created the Information Research Department, IRD, in 1948 to spread anti-Soviet propaganda domestically. In order to do this, they used state-private networks, which essentially means the IRD gave propaganda to local community leaders to disseminate in their own way so that the propaganda would be better received by the population. This method was the IRD's primary action, but the IRD also advised governmental leaders on administrative actions to deny Soviet diplomats entry into the UK in an effort to prevent propaganda material from being snuck in. These actions of the IRD proved to be very effective at shutting down communist movements inside Britain, which demonstrated the importance of improving intelligence and propaganda cooperation. However, this was not without controversy, especially in Western nations, because the IRD used covert propaganda against its own population and blocked diplomatic actions from the Soviets, thus starting a debate between liberty and security when countering extremists. This second segment uses Maguire's article, Secret Intelligence and Public Diplomacy in the Ukraine War, to explain the current intelligence environment and risk of oversharing using the Ukrainian War as an example. The Ukraine War has shown that intelligence in modern-day warfare is vast because of the collection capabilities via aviation, space, and social media platforms. With the increase in readily available intelligence also comes the increase in publicly disclosed intelligence from London and Washington. There are 5 main reasons why a state would use intelligence publicly or privately to exert influence. These are support gains to justify one's actions, action gains to persuade decision-making and public opinion in a state's favor, resilience gains to build awareness and prepare an audience for an upcoming threat, incrimination gains to expose or embarrass an adversary, or third-party pressure, which is intelligence disclosed because of third party's pressure for information, which is often the public. In the Ukraine war, the West has primarily used incrimination gains in order to expose Putin's gray zone operations and propaganda campaigns. For example, when Russia captured a Western public health lab in Ukraine, they tried to force the narrative that the U.S. was developing biological weapons. However, Western intelligence was released disclosing the true innocent nature of the lab, which reflected badly on Russia. The large amount of accurate intelligence the West has publicly disclosed has reinstated public confidence in London and Washington's intelligence service reputation, which has been tarnished from the Iraqi invasion. However, releasing intelligence does not come without the risk of oversharing. Oversharing too much can cause adversaries to adapt and change strategies and thus making intelligence harder to come by. In addition, after a state acknowledges having intelligence, they are constrained in their policy decisions by public perception. Lastly, after revealing intelligence on a future action, if an adversary no longer carries out that action, then the intelligence service appears to have been incorrect even though they were right. This over time can hurt the intelligence service reputation and accuracy on further intelligence reports. This last main segment uses Dr. Maguire's article, Mixed Signals, Assessing Japan's Prospects to Join the Five Eyes Intelligence Alliance, to examine the potential future of the Pacific region's intelligence capabilities. Five Eyes is an alliance consisting of the US, UK, Canada, Australia, and New Zealand, with the purpose of sharing continuous, unprocessed signals intelligence. Japan has recently sought to join the alliance and make it Six Eyes. So why does the alliance need Japan? Japan has advanced technological industries in areas like space, AI, and quantum. In addition, both Japan and Five Eyes share concern over the growth of China, which is reflected in Japan building several SIGINT listening posts aimed at collecting intelligence on China, North Korea, and East Russia. Japan wants to join Five Eyes because it would gain access to worldwide unprocessed intelligence and with that would become one of the top intelligence powers. Dr. Maguire believes that it is essential for the West to start some sort of shared intelligence agreement with Japan, but doesn't believe that Five Eyes is the way to do that. The reasons being, if Japan joined Five Eyes, then they would have access to all of the West's intelligence strategical weaknesses. In addition, Japan would also fall under the No Spy Agreement, which states that no Five Eyes nation can collect intelligence on another member nation. For these reasons, Maguire believes the future of Pacific intelligence lies in increasing cooperation, but not to the extent of joining Five Eyes.